I got sexual violence is rampant in Sudan's civil war. Rights group says. An international rights group on Monday accused a paramilitary group in war-torn Sudan of sexual violence against women, including rape, gang rape, and forced and child marriage. A smaller number of incidents were also attributed to the military, it said. Human Rights Watch called for the United Nations and the African Union to establish a joint mission to protect civilians in Sudan, as more than 15 months of fighting between the military and the paramilitary rapid support forces has shown no signs of abating. The rapid support forces have gang raped, and forced into marriage countless women and girls in the residential areas in Sudan's capital, said Laetitia Bader, Deputy Africa Director of Human Rights Watch. The group also accused both warring parties of blocking survivors access to critical emergency care, and said the military has willfully restricted shipments of humanitarian supplies to RSF-controlled areas, including medical supplies, aid workers, since October of last year.
Damn.
I mean, this is the reason. I mean, we really want to talk about this because, you know, people have been hearing about Sudan recently because their basketball team, South Sudan basketball team, did really well in the Olympics. As far as, like, I think they came close to beating the Americans. Not to change the subject, but people have heard about the area. But Sudan has been at war for, I think, a little over a year, almost a year and a half or so right now, and they're breaking apart into two countries. There was
South Sudan and Sudan.
Yeah, at one point in time it was all one country, but then like it was like the head of the military kind of split apart from the prime minister of the country or the president of the country, kind of just kind of start his own thing because he had all the military. So he was like, I'm going to start my own country, do my own thing, because he felt like they were trying to basically kick him out of the power structure of everything. And so now it's just been pretty much just like a genocide going on within the country. They've killed, like, I know they've displaced like over like 8 million people, killed a lot of people. We just haven't really been talking about this conflict too much because it's in Africa and people don't really care about what goes on in Africa, but it's a lot of starvation going on. This is like 100 times worse than what's going on over in Gaza. And we've spoken about Gaza on a number of different occasions. So it's something that needs to be talked about, but to even just look at the courage of those people who came in, those players who came in from South Sudan to play in the Olympics was really big, knowing that this is going on within your country right now. It's just
it's good to create awareness like that. You know what I'm saying? And we do have to keep up with stuff that's going on in Africa, because it's not just the Middle East where it's war torn. It's not just Russia and the Ukraine where there's war going on, or in America where there's one that's going to pop off after the election regardless. You know what I'm saying? We have to focus on other countries and let them know that we're here with them, and we're here to report on the atrocities and everything else that's going on, and that you're not alone in this country.
Yeah,
or in your country.
No, absolutely. I mean, this is all kind of one big segment right here. So officials at UN Security Council push for a permanent seat for Africa. The United Nations chief has called for the UN Security Council to reform its outdated structure and assign Africa a permanent seat at the table, stressing that the continent is underrepresented. Addressing the council on Monday during a high-level debate, Security General Antonio Guterres said the composition of the UNSC has failed to keep pace with the changing world. Basically, what he's coming with is like Africa is pretty much the fastest growing continent in the world right now. They have the youngest population, Africa overall as a continent. The average age of African people are like 19. The closest continent to that is like I want to say it's Asia. I think there's like 31 or something like that. I mean, it's something the closest one, but they all have. It just has the most rapidly growing population, but they don't have a permanent seat on the Security Council. But most of the things that you're dealing with when you're dealing with the Security Council are dealing with Africa. It's like when they have all those different when they're putting people on trial, they're mostly putting African leaders on trial. Yeah. You know, and this is who they're attacking. So they do need some kind of a seat on the council. They have most of the resources in the world are in Africa. You know, they also supply troops to the UN, but they don't have a seat on the council. They don't have any say so in what goes on. And so that's what I mean. It's just another, like I say, it's another aspect of what we were talking about. We really got to start paying attention to what's going on in Africa, because we talked about it already on this segment before, that, you know, you're watching, there's a big incursion from China, a big incursion from Russia, and they're going into Africa, and they're basically like setting their flags in Africa. A lot of countries are starting to do. They had some protests, I think it was in Nigeria, where the Africans were waving the Russian flag because they're starting to get support from Russia. You know what I mean? And we're not supporting them in any substantive way. we're not helping them out. But so they're going to take it from where they can. People who are not putting them in a situation to where they owe so much money. If you give them a loan, now they have to pay back 20% on the loan or something ridiculous. You know, even though at the same time it's a loan, you should be looking to help them out, because you understand what could happen if you let these countries go into a war torn kind of a state. You start getting displaced people, you start getting hunger strikes, you start getting people who are starving, and you start getting a lot of rape and things like this going on. This is what's happening over there.
It's going to happen here in America too if we don't get our stuff right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but we're going to let y'all know. We're going to keep you updated. Uncommon courtesy. Till next time.